Welcome to the Academy of Man podcast, where we explore life's profound questions, share personal experiences, and delve into philosophical discussions. Please note that all content shared here reflects our personal opinions and is intended for entertainment and thought-provoking purposes only. This podcast may challenge your perspectives and even cause you to question your own reality. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome, everyone, every listener that's out there. By the way, the only reason why you're even listening to this and understanding my words is because you're a human being, period. Well, nowadays you can argue that AI could actually also understand my conversation. But
Siri gets me.
Welcome back to the Academy of Man podcast. By now, you guys should already know what kind of style of podcasting we're developing. Let me introduce my co-host, Mr. Edgar Moose Rio. And for the people that don't know why I call him Moose, it's from that movie. What's it called, bro?
Step Up 2.
Step Up 2.
Yeah, the dancer kid.
Because growing up, Edgar literally looked like that dude. So, welcome back to the Academy of Men podcast, everyone. I hope you guys have been enjoying some of our previous episodes. They have been a roller coaster, not only for our listeners, but for ourselves.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. I would say that it is beginning to pass proof of concept for me, psychologically. All the good feedback we've gotten so far, even on the episode that I thought we did the worst in so far, the amount of good feedback I received, I was just taken back by it. So it's doing well. We're cooking up. People are picking up what we're putting down, and I'm so excited because I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah. No, it's definitely unique, and that's my vision, bro. I see it, and so it's just like, pushing forward.
Yeah.
I looked at the analytics behind it, and 100% of all of the listeners listened all the way to the end.
Really?
Yeah.
So far?
For
episode 1?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's insane.
So we got him.
I know.
We got him good.
Attention is the commodity of the future.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
It is.
To be able to project a message, any message in general.
It's arguably like a new form of currency, right?
It's for sure.
It's like credit almost, right? The promise to make money is almost more important than having the money itself. Like having the ears and attention of people is better. It's almost better than having people working for you almost. I don't know.
Well, in regards to influence and impact, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're really only limited to capital based on how you acquire that capital.
Right.
In comparisons to an audio file that lives on the web that can essentially reach millions and millions of people at any given point.
Yeah, but I'm just so happy.
Yeah.
I can't get this smile off my face because it's exactly what I wanted it to be. It's because it's like no way that people don't hear this. You know what I mean? Like sometimes things happen to me in my life, or like I have conversations, or like I said, things happen. I look around and see if anybody else saw it.
Okay.
Because I'm really by myself a lot of the time, and I just feel like, yo, nobody saw that shit.
Nah, I mean,
and it's conversations like that we've had where I'm just like, yo, nobody else knows the amount of like reflecting and the amount of knowledge that was just poured into one another in this like 2-hour and it's just like, well, people need to witness it.
Yeah, for sure.
No, but I'm excited to see where this. I want it to continue to prove to me that it's worth investing time in. Yeah, and I'm just excited, bro.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. Specifically, just the idea of stepping out of my house.
Yeah, and that's a big thing for you now because you're a new dad. You're a new dad, so
huge. So it's like
La nena.
I'm just going with the flow.
How is she? She's okay?
She's good by the grace and mercy of God. But let's get to topic, man.
Let's do it.
Because we know what the people are here for.
What's today's topic, Joel? Bring us in.
So I wanted to discuss the idea of peace.
Peace.
And the reason why I wanted to discuss this idea was because I heard someone mention that the the pursuit of progress is, in essence, a lack of peace.
Pursuit of progress.
The pursuit of progress is, in essence, a lack of acquiring peace. And the reason for that is because of the constant change, right? So to an extent, the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because it's so much deeper than that. But
yeah, it is.
He said that peace is accepting your current state and being, I'm not gonna say he said the word happy, but implied that accepting your current state of mind, your current etc. is peace. And so when you pursue a form of evolution, a form of creativity, a form of X.
Yeah, you're willingly disrupting your peace.
Exactly.
Yeah, I see. That is so deep. Immediately I started thinking about how I feel like, especially as a young man, we're kind of motivated by how much we decide or choose to take on. And what I mean by that is like whether if we want to take on a specific career or take on the role of a father or anything like that. And I started thinking about how we spoke about last time, how there's nothing virtuous about a bunny or a rabbit, if you will. So like the capacity to disrupt peace is what made you, or the capacity to do damage is what made you more of a hero. Like if you're somebody that can't do damage and doesn't choose to do damage, it's like, go ahead, you suck. You know what I mean? But it's always interesting because I agree. I think that you have to kind of like disrupt your peace, but not. My brain is going crazy right now. I'm thinking like a million different things at once. So let me start off with the definition of the word peace.
Go ahead.
Let me gather myself. I'm very sorry. It's so much more deeper.
There's so much deeper. I unpacked at least 4 to 5 different layers of it.
Yeah, I would like to start by saying that's such a surface level. I feel like a surface level thinking.
Yeah, it's definitely a simplicity. There's a level of simplicity behind it.
Yeah, but I'd rather people ask themselves the question than not.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the definition of the word peace is, the noun is freedom from disturbance / tranquility.
Freedom from disturbance.
Yeah.
/ tranquility.
Yeah.
So I want to unpack this, right? So if you're telling me that the constant pursuit of innovation is, in essence, the disruptor of peace, then by that same essence, I would argue that society would never, technically speaking, achieve a sort of peace. Now, peace in itself is just a noun. It can be applied to both an individual, and then it can also be applied to society in general, right? So, for example, an individual who has internal peace may be at peace, but then a person or a group of people, a civilization, may not be at peace.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so,
yeah.
Now, the idea of innovation, the problem with that is that we as humans constantly innovate. It is our gift to innovate.
Yeah.
We are the species that has the capacity of changing its own environment, right? In which, to the point, humans have basically conquered the entire earth, right? Just because we can live anywhere and make that habitat ours, right? And so that makes me believe that the idea of world peace may be a facade.
I think that internal peace could almost I feel like internal peace is only accepted. It's only found through acceptance and kind of going belly up with certain situations.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if you ever heard that phrase, belly up. It's like, wolves, whenever they accept defeat, they kind of go on their back.
Yeah. Accept the inevitable.
Yeah, I think the internal peace can only be found through that. And I completely understand what you are saying, that it's almost a facade, because our instinct is almost to always kind of grow and evolve. Even now, what we're doing is still... but in almost a literal sense, for like war, it's very hard to... Because I feel like, do you think we're at peace right now as a nation? I know we're not really trying to get political.
That's a deep question.
But
you can break that question down in several different ways, for sure.
And I was thinking about the business model, identify a problem and then sell the solution.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, we're always kind of like identifying problems, even internally, arguably.
For sure, at least every day.
Yeah, and I just think that peace in general might just be a facade. It might be like one of those things to... I don't see the point in chasing peace. Like somebody like me, I never really even thought about that. That's why I was so... When you said it just now, I was so excited, and I said a big ball and nothing. Because I'd never thought about peace. It's like, what even is that? You know,
it's so funny you say that, right? So I'm gonna tell a story. When I first decided to convert to Christianity, one of the things that I had asked God was to bring peace to my life.
You didn't even know what you were asking for, nigga. You had an idea, I'm sure. But
I'm sure I had an idea. And it was just because my surrounding area, my peripheral view was just so full of chaos.
Yeah.
At such a young age, that you're just like, bro, I just wanna can we just
take a second?
Can we just chill?
Just chill, right? Yeah.
Is it possible to just chill?
Just a year. You know?
That
just 1 year.
You know what I'm saying?
Just surviving.
So I had asked that, and ironically, my behavior became better because I started going to these church services.
Yeah.
And then understanding the Bible and understanding Proverbs. First time I've ever opened the book of Proverbs.
Yeah. We spoke about it like an episode or two ago, where I said the radical acceptance of the worst possible outcome is the reason why Christians are able to carry themselves with this amount of grace and peace we're talking about.
Correct.
And it's because they've accepted the worst possible outcome of every situation. So it's kind of like a cheat code to life. That's why I love Christians, like diehard Christians, so much. And even some Muslims too. Muslims are a little bit more aggressive in their approach towards almost everything, but they too carry themselves with this amount of grace that I envy. And not in a I know envy is not really a sexy word, but like I desire for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so interesting to hear you say that, because what would you ask of God now?
Ooh.
If would you change the word peace if you can go back?
No.
You would ask for peace still, knowing that it's a facade. My bad.
No, that's good. That's good.
I don't even know what to ask for. You know what I mean?
That's very interesting.
Yeah, bro. You know what's interesting? I started praying.
Okay.
Recently, right? In the sauna, believe it or not.
Okay.
Because I've been trying to control my breathing, and I didn't know how to pray.
Right.
So at first, it's been like a conversation format. I'm just like almost like, yo, what's up?
Okay.
You know? And I felt like that was working for me. But then I realized I didn't know how to pray really. And I wasn't praying correctly according to Christians.
Okay.
So at first now I just do it. This is Jordan Peterson and George Janko gave me insight on this.
Did you watch the full episode?
Course, bro,
oh my
gosh.
God. Yeah, shout out to them for sure.
Yeah. So now I start off by almost saying I start off by saying thank you for everything you've done for me. And thank you for everything that I am too blind to see that you have done for me.
The gratitude, bro.
Yeah, and I'm at the point where I feel like sometimes the conversations are almost pointless because he's laughing at the plans that I have. So it's just like, Am I making sense right now?
Do you stop planning for that?
What was that?
Do you stop planning because of that?
No, sometimes I just ask him, what the fuck is he doing? You know what I mean? Like today when I prayed, I was just like, yo, make it more apparent for me.
Give me the wisdom to understand your signs.
I need you to make this idiot proof for me. And I tell him, because what you want me to do is very unclear. I almost stop asking him for things. Because I feel like it's just counterproductive. He's got something for me already.
Yeah, exactly. Just accepting that mere fact.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Back to our topic. Have you thought about what you would probably ask for? Because I just thought about sharing that because I stopped really asking for things. Now I just kind of ask for, like a little bit more clearance.
Yes, exactly. There are things that you can ask for that are physical. Mm-hmm. And then there are things you can ask for that are spiritual and psychological. Yeah. Right? And so for me, at that moment, now that I'm looking back, right? Yeah. I'm thinking I wanted the inner peace. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. But he gave it to you, didn't he?
He did. And so Naval says that peace is not peace of the world, but peace of the mind. Like, give me peace from my own mind, because it doesn't matter where you could go. You could, to an extent, you can argue that it will follow you if you don't have the inner peace already established. Yeah. So, just for food for thought.
Question for our listeners: do you think peace is a facade?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Is peace in general, whether if you think psychologically or worldwide, do you think it's obtainable? Shoot us a DM at Academy of Man Pod.
We're gonna be putting a poll as well.
Yeah, we're gonna do a poll and shoot us a DM. Let's have conversation. You'll get 2 responses. You'll get a response from Joel and you'll get a response from me. Whoever sees it first is just gonna go ahead and respond. Cool. And we'll just attack the conversation like that. Yeah. But yeah, I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this, because I'm a little puzzled. Yeah. It's kind of scary to think that peace is really unobtainable, but my brain can't rationalize.
Yeah, it's almost
anything else.
Well, it's not
even when you're a Christian, even if you've accepted the worst possible outcome, are you really at peace? That's it. That's the question, because even Christians want to buy a house. Even Christians want to become better at drawing. Even Christians want to be a better dancer. So what, they just live knowing that the possibility of them never becoming better, they just accept that? I don't maybe I'm like confusing myself, but like
No, that's a tough one, because in essence, one of the things that we have to be careful with is the statement that the gentleman said versus the definition are 2 completely different things. Yeah. So
bring us back. What did the gentleman say?
So the gentleman said that because of innovation, because of its essence in the innovation and the constant change into chaos to an extent, is the disruptor of peace. And so what I've been trying to say is that so far we have acknowledged that there may be 2 different forms of peace. Yeah. In which the fact that there's going to be an inner peace. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the only one we're almost in control of.
Within reason.
Yeah. Okay. And so let's jump into the idea of world peace. Right?
Yeah, what does that even really entail? I feel like I'm a little underqualified to really talk about that. Because there's so much politics. We are a democracy. That's why I said within reason. There's not much we can do.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that humans are. First of all, there's too many of us.
You think so?
Oh well, not necessarily. Not to the capacity that the world can take on, but there's a lot of us. For sure. Yeah. And so we're vastly spread out, vastly throughout almost all the corners of the earth.
Yeah, and freedom of thought is almost like saying freedom of conflict, right? Because everybody's different. Everybody's gonna have different viewpoints.
Exactly.
And
different, almost I mean, let's consider a monk, for example.
Yeah.
Some people say that they're at peace.
How, Sway? How, Sway? You know what I mean? I wish.
You don't think so?
I mean, I believe it.
It's
believe
it's
it.
a possible.
I listen to a lot of
Okay.
Jay Shetty, and that man sounds like his heart is beating from a different, like.
I don't know if it's I think it's something that it should be pursued.
Yeah, I don't think that the pursuit of it should be completely eliminated.
Yeah.
Or completely dismissed from thought.
You know what's funny? That the Thomas Jefferson, if I'm not mistaken, wrote in the Constitution that man has the inalienable right to the pursuit of happiness. The pursuit. And in The Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith, he actually analyzes the idea of why did Thomas Jefferson only said that you should pursue happiness, almost as if it can never be fully attained, right?
Yeah, why did he say obtain happiness?
Exactly. The pursuit of happiness. Almost like...
Maybe he was able to identify that what brings us that happiness might change over time, and it's always kind of like a goalpost that always moves.
Right.
I think that it's just that. That's crazy. What brings you peace could change also.
Correct.
So the goalpost kind of just moves every single time.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, yeah, wow. What were you were going to say something?
No. I was literally going to say the exact same thing.
I think that because I'm trying to apply the same logic to other scenarios to see if I'm making any sense. And it's just like, yeah, you don't completely dismiss the pursuit of happiness.
Correct.
Because it might be unattainable, but it's so tangible that it changes almost every month sometimes for some people.
Yeah. Do you think that peace is a human right?
I think the pursuit of peace is a human right.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, not peace itself. Because that you can't put a definition or a stamp on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What brings me peace is not going to be what brings you peace. You know, I'm at peace when I'm on a stage performing for people. I could easily see why that wouldn't be the case for somebody else. So
I guess he's right.
I think he is right. And I've said this before. Chaos through moderation is necessary for progress. I was asked by a friend of mine who's a parent, would I put my kids in public school, being that I've come from the public school system. I said 100%.
That's interesting.
I would 100% put them in a public school if I could. I think that the perfect learning environment is impossible to create, and chaos through moderation is necessary.
That's a good point.
And I would rather have my kid callousized. I'd rather navigate the brain of somebody who's becoming callousized, or somebody's brain that is developing calluses to certain situations that might come up from a public school, rather than having to navigate the brain of a kid that builds the calluses of coming from a private school.
What about homeschool?
I don't think I would like homeschool for my kid personally. I could see why there'll be a lot of benefits to it, but immediately I'd be able to see why. I'd also, for as many benefits, I could almost see as many disadvantages that come from it. I think social awareness is key, especially moving forward into this new generation that's coming along. I think before you can kind of put your head down and work and kind of like go crazy with numbers as far as like making money. Nowadays, you need to be kind of like able to do it all. And I think the best way to equip the kid with that is to have them go and get bullied, go and see the diversity of incomes, and go in, get their heart broken. Like I said, chaos through moderation. I think it's very important. And I think the public schooling system is doing what they can with that. There's school safety, so you can You can hope that your kid's not gonna get murdered or tortured.
Yeah, I think it's a big gamble though.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is a gamble, but with everything else, also.
Okay.
I think you would have to. Yeah, there's a bunch of details, but I think I agree with you. It is a gamble, but so is deciding to shield your kid from all of that.
That's true.
100%. So, that's just a bet. That's just a bet I would place. Just because I'm biased, that's where I came from, and I feel like with a certain amount of coaching, I could have came out of high school even better. But I kind of was left alone to digest everything that was happening to me in high school.
So, in my perspective, and this is why I would chat. This is why I would. I'll be your opposite in this train of thought. Just because I see the public school systems almost as a social project. To the extent that you're essentially gathering kids at various different ages to come together to one building within a X amount of zip codes.
Yeah.
Regardless of XYZ. And the lack of freedom. I mean, even just the curriculum itself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's almost it's a point to be challenged.
Yeah.
And so I look at it in the lenses of, I went through this system and I almost didn't make it out.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because of my backgrounds, my upbringings, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But this was the only system that was given to me.
Yeah. And that's... I don't want to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
No, I think that the variables, like I mentioned earlier, the perfect learning environment is impossible to create because like the pursuit of happiness and the pursuit of peace, every child requires a different kind of attention, 2 books, 2 a t-shirt, 2 a sweater, a jacket, a coat, a hug. So it's just so many different. The public school system is put in such a hard place
in regards to
everything, bro. You're giving kids that you're expected to teach and untrain certain things out of them. And train, and I don't like using that word because people already have a negative, but I think that's the best word that fits because you have to train them to not sag their pants because you want them to enter society, to be looked at. And I'm just using that as an example, but there's a lot of untraining that comes with taking a student on in the public system. And I just think that you give them, let's say, $100,000, pay your teachers this amount, and this is what we expect to be the outcome. Here you go. Make it happen. And I feel like that is all the public school system is given. And like I said, it's just impossible to create the perfect learning environment that applies to every single kid because every single kid's scenario is completely different.
For sure.
And every kid learns a little bit differently.
Absolutely.
So they have to go on a majority wins kind of.
I see what you're saying. So go for the average.
Go for the average, and they have to accept the ones that stay and accept the ones that slip through the cracks too.
That is correct.
They don't have the funding to catch the kids that slip through the cracks and that need a little bit more visual learning because majority of the students learn, by putting shit down on paper. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So it's like they're in such a hard place, and they really have to just play to the majority. And this is why I love the school system from the city specifically because we get to choose almost, and our parents, if they're involved, they get to choose kind of like. If
That's
your
true.
kid is more of a performer,
They
you want to
do
put them in an acting school, right? If your kid seems somewhat more interested in science, okay, bro, there's a bunch of science specific high schools that have a little bit more specification in science. Not crazy.
Did you know that Neil deGrasse Tyson went to the Bronx?
Yeah.
Incredible.
He lives in the Bronx.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he lives in Washington Heights. Well, he has an apartment in Washington Heights right now in the same building as Lin-Manuel.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, they live. Anyways. But
Off topic.
Yeah, we have a mutual colleague. or a friend of ours that knows them personally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Miss Ritz.
Ah.
Yeah, she's the GOAT, bro.
Shout out to Miss Ritz.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm very critical.
I know you are.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
And so I analyze things to like almost the core, like almost to the atom level. Yeah. And so when I balance everything out, it almost gives me a more negative than a positive.
Yeah. So you would rather deal more with the... Either way, there's going to be issues.
For sure.
There's going to be problems on the left and on the right. So you would rather... For me personally, I feel like dealing with the issues that come with sending my kid to a public school are a little bit more, for me, easier to navigate than the issues that come from homeschooling my kid. Because that's something that I don't know. I've never been through personally, so I don't know how to navigate.
That's true.
And maybe I'm just taking the easy way out in this.
That's true. That's also true.
I think that I'll just be better equipped, you know?
The reason why I say that is because your experience is definitely not going to be your child's experience.
It's not at all.
Like, not even close.
Yeah.
So, to what are we... As a matter of fact, we only experience high school once.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
So, we're basing our judgment based off...
Our database.
Our database that only happened once, right? And so... Yeah. That's a tough one.
Yeah, I just think that meeting... I remember I went to school. I was in school for teaching, and I started to get an idea of, you know, when you're in school for teachers education literature, they try to give you the best idea of where these kids are going to be at psychologically or mentally, or sometimes even just like anatomically.
I had a lot of issues.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, but it's case in point. You know what I mean? Every kid is different, and I don't like to sound like somebody who defends the public school system or defends America for that matter, but I think that they are put in a very hard position.
I think the bar is high for sure.
Yeah, there's just not enough money to make something like what these parents want happen. There just isn't. You want every kid to be...
PBD
I'm listening.
Said one time his father had a heart attack. And he took him to the hospital, and they told him they weren't treating his father to the level that he was expecting his father to be treated at, right? Okay. And he made a scene at the hospital. Yeah. And then somebody pulled him up to the side and told him, "Listen, buddy, your father's health insurance is through the public system. We, the taxpayer, pay for your father's health insurance. Do not expect the highest quality of treatment just because if you want the highest treatment, then go private." Yeah. Right? It's going to be the same thing with public school system. Yeah. Right? What kind of level of intellect, of exposure do you want your children to have? As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you a story. I have a friend called Oscar. Now, this kid went to Fordham, the prep school. Okay, Fordham Prep. Yep, Fordham Prep, prior to going to Fordham University. Yeah. Right? And you ever read the book The Giver? No. Oh, my God. It's a masterpiece. Mm-hmm. In his class, they analyzed it, right? Mm-hmm. And then him and I were having a conversation, and he brought up the analysis of The Giver. Now, mind you, this is a kid that's like at least 6 years younger than me at the time, and I was, let's just say 18, so he was like 12-ish, 13, 14, around that age, right? Already giving me the analysis of The Giver. Most people have not read The Giver. Yeah. You know, and it was just the different level of exposure that he was exposed to. Yeah. It's like you can feel it, bro.
I get it. I get that 100% because I meet certain people, like Miss Ritz, for example. We were talking about her earlier, and I remember like I was there for her daughter's bat mitzvah. Right? Okay. She actually paid me, my ex-girlfriend at the time, to kind of like help the kids have fun. Just to be present, eat. It was great. It was a great time. We did the cha-cha slide. It was beautiful. I was just tasked with helping everybody dance and just have fun. So I remember her daughter, phenomenal human being.
For sure.
Super fuck, like dope as fuck.
Yeah.
And I remember how old are you when you have a bat mitzvah?
I'm not sure.
I remember her being significantly younger than me. And she turned to me and said, Edgar, isn't this place astonishing? And I remember being a junior in high school. And I looked at her, and I remember I'm a junior from the Bronx.
Yeah.
We don't use the word astonishing.
Ever.
Right? It's just the choice of words was very apparent to me, and I realized it in that moment that, like, I realized what you were saying in that moment. And even now as an adult, right? Like, I have an associate's in bio, and I have the database of somebody who's 26 from the Bronx who is trying to do well for himself. And I meet people like Hilda, our mutual friend, and she's someone who is also doing well for herself, but different caliber of a human being.
For sure.
But it depends on what you would like for that person to be exposed on, because in a scene where there's a cardiac arrest, Hilda's going to be useless to me.
Yeah.
And on a dance stage, actually, I think she's also a dancer.
Mm-hmm.
But like performing a hip hop piece, how much better is she gonna be than I am? Trying to get people to invest into my brand. How much better is she gonna be than me?
Right.
It's just a matter. I get it. I get it 100%. But it's more so like, what do you want to equip your kids to? And I think that you're almost changing my perspective on it a little bit. I kind of want to play it by ear and by eye now. If my kid is going to be like an introvert or like a tech kid,
ladies and gentlemen,
I think that
the goal has been accomplished.
I think that I would want him to be homeschooled or go to private school. But if my kid wants to be a showman, a performer, an influencer, or something that requires a little bit more of a social background, I don't mind putting his ass in public school.
Yeah.
But I do think chaos through moderation is necessary, and there's different types of chaos. It doesn't need to.
For sure, it doesn't need to be the Bronx,
right? or like JFK High School, but
it does not need to be the Bronx.
Yeah, I mean,
so a kid that goes to Proctor High is not gonna have the same experience that we had going to the Bronx.
Well, a kid from Proctor High would have the closest experience to going to a school in the Bronx in this area.
That's a wild statement.
I think that what is it? There's two schools here, right? Utica Academy of Science and Proctor High School.
Yep.
I think Proctor High School, for the area that this is in, is the closest thing to a Bronx high school there is.
That's insane. You
disagree?
Yeah, for sure.
What school is the closest school?
There are no schools that are closest to the Bronx.
Oh. I know that it's different completely. But no, I'm just saying like, have you been to there? I've been to the school on 911 calls, and there's been like fights. I went to a basketball game there. The temperature is nothing like the Bronx, but it's the closest to the Bronx.
I see what you're saying.
This will get.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I got you.
Oh, you mean.
I got you.
Yeah, there's nothing like the Bronx.
Nah.
There's nothing like the Bronx. There's nothing like Utica. There's nothing like Syracuse. It's all pick your fucking poison. You know what I mean? It's what poison you want to drink.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're gonna end it here.
Yeah. Make sure you let us know exactly what you thought about this podcast. Give us a review. Chat with us in the DMs on academyofman.pod on Instagram. Let us know, do you think facade is obtaining peace a facade? Do you think it's obtainable? We kind of went off the rails a little bit on this, but
I mean, I think we just touched on different topics. Yeah. And tell us what's been your experience with going to public school. Tell us if you want your kids to be indoctrinated by the public school system. Nah, let me stop.
And I also want to just throw this out. I apologize if I stepped on any toes, figuratively speaking. I'm not a dad yet at all. No. And maybe I'm not the most qualified to speak on this topic. But,
bro, we all have an opinion. And maybe not all of us are qualified, but...
Yeah.
You went to high school, right?
Yes, I did.
You went to a public school?
Yes, I did.
So you're qualified.
Okay, fair enough. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. We love you guys, for real. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Take care and peace.
Bye.